Hi everyone, welcome to my making journey. My name is Cata and I am filming from Valparaiso in Chile, South America. I am in the room of my guest house that I like the most because it has really nice lighting.
As you can see, Valparaiso woke up to a beautiful fall rainy day.
If this is your first time here, thank you so much for watching. I film my process of making, especially with fabric at the moment, but I am first a knitter. I've been filming mostly what I make with fabric because I had a child, I had a baby 13 months ago, and he takes up most of my time. So right now I've been more dedicated to sewing and learning more about sewing simply because I have time to do that, and it's nice to see something finished quickly than knitting. I just don't have enough time to knit and to see those results. I also have a website, alicantaknits.com, and there you can see my knitting designs. I have a few that were published in La Hebra magazine, which is a national knitting and crochet magazine. And those are the Atacama Nights poncho and the Dots and Lines cowl. Both are on my website. The Dots and Lines cowl is not in English. It's not available in English yet, but it will be very soon. And after that, I have a few other things. I have a beanie, my Easy Chunky beanie it's called. I have a really nice neck warmer, a braided cowl, and this, which is what I am filming today about. This is the KangaRoo Collapsible Market Bag. It's also in English and Spanish, and it is by far my most popular design. It's been downloaded a few hundred times, and I love it. I don't consider myself a crocheter. It's not a craft that I am super comfortable with, like I am with knitting. But I was able to design this, and I think it's a great project for beginners. It came out in May of 2022, I believe, so it's about to have its birthday. And I decided to make this video tutorial as an extra help or as an aid that would contribute to making the pattern for those that are absolute beginners. So it's a very simple design. The bag comes in a pouch, as you can see, with the shape of a hexagon. And when you open it, you can take out the bag, which has been built into the pouch itself. So this is what the bag looks like once finished. And it's a great bag to have in your purse, in your bag, to take to the beach. I keep it in Max's stroller in case I need to buy anything when we're out and about. You can leave it in your glove compartment, whatever. I think it came out really nice. I'm really proud of this design. I just think it's really easy and just practical. So this tutorial has two parts. In the first part, I basically go through the mechanics of building the pouch and why it is built that way, etc., etc. So it's, as I said, it's thought out for the very, very beginners. If you're not a beginner, you probably don't need this tutorial. And then in the second part, you will see the rest. So putting together the pouch, making the mesh, and finally building in the handle. Apart from that, as is tradition, with some of my videos, I will be showing you some curious or fun thing about the area where I live in, which is called Happy Hill. It's a very, very beautiful area of Chile. So, with no further ado, here is the tutorial.
For this tutorial, I'm going to be using the 24/7 cotton from Lion Brand. This is the worsted weight. You can use less than that, you can use more than that, but you don't want to deviate too much from that, because if you use something that is thinner than a DK, you're going to get a bag that takes a lot of time. And this is a stash buster, it should be quick. If you go too high up from worsted, then what's going to happen is you're going to get something really bulky, and the idea is to have a bag that is small that you can just carry with you and that fits really nicely in the pouch. So for the crochet, I'm using this one. I don't have the 4.5 millimeter that I suggest in the video. I couldn't find it. I found this one instead. This one is probably like a 3.5, something like that. But it's okay because in my pattern, I mentioned that gauge is not important. So I'm going to prove that to you by using this one instead of the one that I suggest. I also suggest starting with a magic ring. If you're a complete beginner in crochet, a magic ring is a ring that you make. It's a technique so that when you're done with the first row of your project, you can close that because it leaves a tail. You can close that tail, closing the tiny hole that is at the center of your project. So if you don't want to see a hole, that's what that's for. Otherwise, just start with a regular chain. However, whatever's comfortable for you is fine. So you're going to create a cross with your fingers, doing 2 loops. Yeah, one towards the tip of your fingers first, and then one towards your knuckles, creating an X. Then you're going to grab your crochet. You're going to go under the top part of that X, and you're going to grab the second part and bring it underneath the top like that. Twist. Then you're going to grab that again and pull it through that loop. Okay, and then I don't crochet this way, but then you're going to continue making simple crochets all around, however many that first row requires. In our case, it's 6. And now I'm going to do the left side and I'll show you how to keep going. So if you're doing this left-handed, you're going to do the opposite of what we just did for the right hand. So you're going to grab your yarn, you're going to loop around your fingers and then loop the other way towards your knuckles. I like to grab it with my pinky like that. And then you're going to grab your crochet, go under the top part of this cross, grab the bottom part, bring it from underneath and twist, and then grab it again and bring that bottom part through the loop. Okay? All right, so when you knit straight up and down, what happens is you make your stitch. Let's say these are simple crochets. And then you turn and you go up and you continue, right? Putting more stitches on top of the previous row. In a circle, you do the same thing, but you need to close the circle. So the stitches are, the first and last stitches of the row here are not interconnected, but in a circle, they have to be, because it's the only way for the circle to be closed. Yeah, so the first and the last stitch have to somehow be connected. Now, when you do a circle, you don't simply put a simple crochet on top of the previous row. What you do is you have to sort of climb up into that level by doing some chain stitches, usually 2, but I've found that depending on what material I'm using, sometimes I even have to do 3. And then that brings you up. Ay, mosquito, go away. You're being so annoying. So and I got distracted. So you go up a level, yeah, by doing your chain stitches, and that counts as this part of the simple crochet or whatever other stitch you're doing. If it's a treble crochet, you'll do 3 chain stitches and so on. The taller it gets, the more stitches the more chains you'll do. And then when you do your other stitch here, this sort of completes this side of the stitch. So then you're going to go around your magic ring doing all the other stitches. In our case, our first round is 6 stitches, so you would do 5 stitches because we have half here, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have an open, sort of an open circle. And how do you close that? Super easy, by doing a slip stitch, which in the symbol of crochet is a black dot. And then on your next round, what you're going to do is you're going to add, you have to, basically for a circle or a hexagon, the same rule applies. You're going to increase in every next round, however many you started with. So in this case, it's 6. So in the next round, there have to be 12. In the next round, there will have to be 18, and so on and so forth, throughout the, I think, 16, if I remember correctly, rows that we have in our pattern. So for the next round, we're going to add 6, meaning we have to do 2 stitches in each one of these previous stitches. All right, so please forgive the lighting. This is the only place in the house where I can do this right now, and I've got a huge skylight right above me. So we just did the magic ring, and now we're going to do our round 1. So for this round, I'm going to add a chain stitch. Normally I like to add 2, but the slip stitch sort of leaves half of that already made. So I'd only do 1 for this first round. And now we're going to continue simple crocheting around the circle. Now, as I said in the explanation with the pencil and paper, we have done here half of the equivalent of half a simple crochet. So we're going to do 5 more and then close the circle with a slip stitch. So here we go. This one would be 1. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and this is, now you'll see what the ring is for. Just gonna lengthen that so it doesn't come off. Now we're gonna pull this. This is gonna help me close this first round. All right, and now we can continue. So another tip here for the very beginners. Instead of figuring out where to put your crochet and fighting with it, just count backwards. We just did 5 stitches and we have our half stitch here. So we're going to close it and finish the stitch, the 6th stitch, with a slip stitch. So let's count backwards, and that way we know exactly where to put our crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to put our crochet right here. And we slip it out. So there we got 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In all the consecutive rows, you're going to increase as many stitches as you did in this first row. So each row is going to have 6 more stitches than the previous row. This one had 6, plus 6 is 12, so round 2 will have 12 stitches. So we're going to go up into the row by making the last stitch with 2, or the equivalent of half of the last stitch, if I want to be very accurate, with a couple of chain stitches. And now I'm going to continue making 11 stitches because I have part of the 12th. So I'm going to make 11 stitches, 2 in each one of these next spaces, yeah, that belong to the previous stitches of the previous row. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Now we have, remember, 1 here that belongs to the 12. So we only have to do 1 more. 11. Oh, and there we go. And now instead of doing an extra one, I'm just going to finish that 12 by doing a simple stitch, coming in to the chain, sliding it out, and finishing the row. And now we have 12 stitches. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we started with 6 simple stitches. And as I said before, in each round, you're going to increase that amount of stitches. So then the row 2 is going to have 12, which we already looked at. Row 3 is going to have 18. 24, 24, and so on and so forth until you get to 16 rows. Now, how do you distribute them? The hexagon has, as we know, 6 sides. So in row 1, it's just 1 stitch per side. In row 2, it's 2 stitches per side. And in row 3 and beyond, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Now, you have to be able to fit the bigger number into the row with the smaller number. So what you're going to do is, in each row, you're going to do an increase at the vertex, and then the next stitch is going to share the vertex. So there's going to be a stitch in each one of the rounds that shares 2 stitches, or that shares the space. 2 stitches are going to share the space. All right, so how does this look like on our project? I'm not going to do the first 2 stitches, the first 2 rounds, because it's going to be too cluttered in the diagram. But what I am going to do is I'm going to draw a hexagon just to exemplify what we're doing. So we start here with 2 simple stitches, and then we're going to put another stitch to finish that vertex. We do an increase in remember in round 3 we have 18 stitches total, which means each side, we have 6 sides, so divided by 6, that's going to be 3 stitches per side, right? So 3 stitches need to be here, 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, and so on, so that we can make 18 total. So we're doing part of the vertex by doing our chain stitches, then we're putting another stitch, and then we're doing the third one on that side. Then we're going to do an increase, and then 1 on the same vertex and 2 on the side. Another increase, 1 on that vertex, 2 next to it. 1 as an increase, 1 in the vertex to share it, 1 in the side. Increase, 1, 2. Increase, 1. And so now we got to the end of the row. So we did half, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And now here we're going to close the stitch. We're basically doing the little dot to close that stitch. So for the next rounds, before we move on, you will be going up. And then in the next round, it is 24, which means divided by 6 sides is 4 stitches per side. This is an increase, and then 3 simple stitches. So we're going to go up into the round, and then we're going to add, which is the equivalent of the increase, we're going to add a simple stitch, which would be one of the 3, and then 2, which would be one of the 3, the second stitch of this part, 3, 4. So here you would do your increase, and then you're going to do 1, 2, 3. You get to the next one, you're going to do your increase into the vertex, and then 1, 2, 3. Increase into the vertex, 1, 2, 3. Increase into the vertex, 1, 2, 3. Increase into the vertex, 1, 2, and your third is going to be your slip stitch. And you're going to be doing that over and over again, each time adding 1 more to the side. All right, so I'm going to show that to you now with the yarn and the crochet. And a couple of things you can do to make this easier. One thing you can do is to put a marker right at the vertex, so you know when you have to put your increase and when you have to put your next stitch. And that way you will make sure that these vertexes are nice and organized. Another thing you can do is to add stitches in between the vertex. Add, for example, 2 chain stitches. With that, you're going to get a tiny hole here, and you're going to be able to see the vertexes as the hexagon grows. You can or not do that. It doesn't really matter. It's up to you. It does look nice, but that's not what I asked for in the pattern. The pattern, the hexagon is nice and closed. So anyway, this is how you keep going. I'm going to show it to you now with yarn and crochet. Okay, so here we are to exemplify the round 3 and consecutive rounds so that you can see them with, needle and yarn. So, as I said, you are increasing 6 stitches, which is the stitches that we started with, in each next round. So third round is 18, fourth 24, and so on and so forth, creating the hexagon. And in order to do that, this is how it looks. You're going to do 2 chains as your first quote-unquote last stitch, and then you are going to, in this round 3, add 3 stitches to each side of the hexagon. Remember, 2 of those stitches are going to share a stitch in the previous row, and then there's going to be another one after that. So to add up 3 that go on the side. And this first one is a little bit different because you're not going to be putting your stitch right underneath the chain, because that would create an extra stitch. You're going to put it next to it. So when in doubt, always count backwards. We had 12 in the last row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I know I have to put it here. So that's what I'm going to do. So this would be the increase that I just did with the chains, and then plus 1, 2. In the next one, I'm going to do, this is a vertex, right? I just did one vertex here with my chain. Now here is another vertex, which means it's going to have 2 stitches. So I'm going to do the increase first, and then I'm going to do 1 in the same space, and 2 in the next space. Together they add the 3, sorry, I got in wrong. Together they add the 3 for that side. What you can do also is put a stitch marker in between the 2 stitches that correspond to the vertex. So then on the next row, you know where you need to do your increase, right before the marker, and then the rest of them right after. Yeah, of course, I have been looking for my markers for about 6 hours today, and I haven't found them. So I can only put 1 and then continue with the rest of the row, and hopefully you get the idea. Okay, so now we are at the next vertex. So I'm going to do my increase, and then I'm going to put 2 more. 1 in the same space as my increase, 1 in the next one. And I'm going to do that for the rest of the row. So we have, and now we can start seeing the vertexes. So we got 1, 2, 3. For the 4th vertex, I'm going to do my increase, and then the next 2, 1 in the same space with the increase, 1 in the next one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to do number 5. Increase into the stitch below, add 1, and the next one add 2. Or add the second one, really. Now we're going to do increase, add a next one here, and since I lost track, I'm going to count my stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And now I'm going to close for 18, and I'm done with my row, with my round. I keep calling the rounds rows. All right, so now we're going to do the next round, which is 24. I'm going to go up with the 2 chain stitches. And now, instead of being sides of 3 stitches, it's sides of 4, which means 1 increase and then 3 stitches. So 1, the next stitch that shares the vertex, 2, 3. Whoops, there we go. So now I have to increase. And if you remember, I added a stitch marker to where I am supposed to put my increase and my extra stitch. So if you get lost, this is a great way to do it. So now I'm going to do my increase. Actually, I've never used stitch markers before with crochet, so I'm going to take that out. But you can see it, right? It's that one right there. So I'm going to put my increase. Now I'm going to do 1 in the same space, 2 in the next one, 3 in the one after that. All right, and now I can put my marker back in between the 2 stitches right here, right there, in between the 2 stitches of the vertex. I can do this for all the vertexes or vertices. I only have 1 stitch marker, that's why we're only doing it in one. So increase right before the stitch marker, and then 1, 2, 3 for this round. Let's do it again for the next one. Increase, whoops, increase, and then 1, 2, 3. Now we've got 1, 2, 3 vertexes or vertices. Now we're going to do number 4. Increase, and I'm going to add 3, the first one right where I put the increase, 2 in the one after that, 3 in the one after the second. Now I'm going to do vertex number 5 with an increase, and then 3 more. The first one along with the with the increase, 2 in the one after that, 3 in the one after that one, and now the last vertex. Increase, 1 shares the space with the increase, 2, and 3 is my slip stitch, closing the round. And there you can see, now I'm starting to get the 6 sides of the hexagon. And so you keep going. The next one is, after 24, is plus 6 is 30. So you're going to have 5 stitches per side. 1 increase, 4 stitches. The one after that is going to be 36. 1 increase, 5 stitches per side. Every time you go to the vertex, you know you have to put 2 in 1 previous stitch. Yeah, so the increase and the first one of the rest of the side go in is what mark the vertex. I hope I'm not over explaining and then just getting complicated by over explaining so much. Anyway, I hope this is useful. And before we move on to part 2, this is what a very early morning looks like here in Happy Hill.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope this tutorial has been a contribution to your making my pattern. I hope you enjoy my pattern. Please let me know if you have any questions or suggestions. I was a teacher for a long time, but I am by no means a crochet teacher. As I said, it's not my craft. It's not the craft that I feel most comfortable in. So if you have any suggestions, I will gladly read them. And also, if you're interested in any of my other designs, they will be listed below. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you didn't like the video, I hope you like the next one. If you did like the video, I would really appreciate you like it below. And if you're interested in seeing more future videos of sewing, knitting, or maybe even crocheting, feel free to follow my channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Ciao.